I'm not supposed to be running any of the small sessions, but this is one of the initiatives that's happening within GEN that I'm particularly excited about. And so I wanted to have a chance to just say a couple of words before inviting Frank to come up and to talk to you in a lot more detail about what we're doing with the Global Enterprise Registration and our partnership with UNCTAD and with the State Department. But I think the most exciting thing for me is the sort of long-term potential of this as a community that has an increasing number of governments asking us the question, how can we learn from other governments about ways that we can tackle challenges we have at enabling entrepreneurship? And for us, one of the biggest challenges we all face is trying to include groups and remove barriers in our economies to segments of our society that for whatever reason have been excluded in the past. And one of the exciting potentials of what Frank is going to talk to you about is, for me, is the potential opportunity of being able to make it easier for the informal economy in many of our societies to become more part of the formal economy through technology. But there are many other aspects of this that we're doing right now, starting with the most important part, which is how do we make it easier? As the Bahraini government mentioned this morning, they feel like they have made it easier for businesses to register. But how do we all make it easier for entrepreneurs to register as entrepreneurs? And how do we make it easier for governments to have an administrative relationship with their entrepreneurial community when it comes to regulations? Frank doesn't normally leave Geneva. He and his developers are normally face down, hard at work. I personally reached out to him to twist his arm to get him to come so that we could learn a lot more in detail and to be able to capture this discussion with you so that we can make these experiments that have been already conducted available to more public sector institutions that are thinking about how do we both register and regulate our entrepreneurs online. Now, Frank will give you a more precise sense of this. I wanted to give a chance to just start and to say how excited Jen is about this and how we and the various governments that we're working with are particularly keen to see this thrive, be developed, to crowdsource how we can improve it. And so without further ado, I'd like to welcome Frank Rosell to the stage to tell you more about GER.co, e-regulations, e-registration, and the future of what we hope to come. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. I'd like to share here some secrets with you, and I hope that you will not keep them for yourself, that you're going to share with other people also. No? We're going to talk here about how can you, and there are many and several representatives of governments here, and some representatives of the entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial organizations, how life could be simpler and how procedures could be simpler. One of the first secrets is that when we talk about regulations and how should we change the rules to make people's life easier, the first secret is that what we should change is not the rules, is the way rules are applied. And there's a lot of difference between the rules, the laws, and the way they are applied. And if you want to simplify the life of entrepreneurs of your country, what you need to change is not the laws. You don't need to change the laws. You need to simplify procedures. I'm going to bring here a few entrepreneurs to this meeting. We're going to watch a video together, and we're going to see what are the problems they're facing. You're going to see that the problem they're facing is the same problem everywhere. We're going to see entrepreneurs from a small Central American country called El Salvador, and we've been to a market, and we asked them a few questions. Do you have an enterprise? People don't even know what an enterprise is. They know that they're doing something, but do I have an enterprise? Yes or no? Is it registered? You can see yes, no. They don't really know what this means because we're going to see that together. Registering a company or an enterprise is not with one entity, with multiple entities, and this is part of the problem. So let's look at this video first, and then we'll see how we can overcome the problems which these entrepreneurs are facing and how governments can really, without changing the laws, simplify procedures for the entrepreneurs.
¿Tiene usted una empresa?
No.
No, simplemente aquí tengo mi venta, que es ambulante, ¿verdad? Se puede decir.
Ah, no.
No, solo... Sí, tengo.
Sí, tenemos aquí ventas varias. Vendemos aquí repuesto de bicicletas, todo esto que está aquí.
¿Su negocio está registrado?
Por alcaldía, sí. Registrado en ningún momento, tampoco.
No estamos registrados en ningún lugar.
No está registrado, está registrado, pero actualmente estamos en trámite nuevamente porque tuvo cierre de 5 años.
Sí, la alcaldía.
No.
¿Conoce usted el registro de comercio?
No.
Más o menos.
No, hemos oído bastante en el asunto de registros y todo eso, pero nosotros y como es poco lo que vendemos, no lo tenemos registrado. Ajá.
No.
Muy poco.
¿Qué conoce?
Pues lo que tiene que estar uno registrado en el ¿cómo se llama? En el registro de comercio, pero no tenemos acceso a eso nosotros.
No estoy enterado.
El registro de comercio es cuando uno, ¿verdad?, tiene registrada su empresa, ¿verdad? Entonces, por ser pequeño el puesto, no podemos registrarlo, ¿verdad?
¿Pagan impuestos ustedes?
Sí, todos los días pagamos la alcaldía.
Impuesto aquí, a pesar de que somos informales, ¿verdad? Pero por medio de la alcaldía sí pagamos impuestos. Ajá.
Sí,
¿A quién?
a la alcaldía.
Sí, a la alcaldía. Se paga aquí pasa cobrando cada mes la señora.
No pagamos.
Solo el impuesto de la alcaldía nada más.
Debo pagar impuestos, pero actualmente no los pago porque no estoy en calidad de prueba todavía.
¿Tiene seguro de salud?
No.
¿Por qué?
Porque no hay una empresa para eso que apoye el pequeño comercio que somos todos nosotros que estamos aquí.
No, de ninguno.
¿Pagan?
No.
No, seguro social sí, no.
Coticé en el Seguro Social, pero como me dedico a lo privado, ahorita no cotizo.
¿Tienen algún tipo de seguro social?
No.
¿Creen ustedes que es importante?
Sí, sería importante eso, sí, porque hablando ya de un seguro, pues usted sabe de que es cierto que uno está vendiendo en la calle, pero en cualquier momento, cualquier situación le puede pasar, ¿va? Sería importante un seguro.
De hecho, sería algo bien importante, sí, para nuestras familias.
Nunca ha venido aquí alguien a explicarme cómo uno se va a afiliar al Seguro Social. Por eso es que no tengo.
Si ustedes se enferman o les pasa algo, ¿quiénes pagan sus medicinas?
Mi familia.
Aquí nosotros mismos.
Por nosotros propios, recorre esa cuenta.
Pues claro, yo.
Me van a hacer un raspado en el ojo. Necesito por lo menos unos 6 días de incapacidad, pero tengo que trabajar, pues no hay de otra.
¿Seguro de jubilación tienen?
En ningún momento. Aquí, si media vez los morimos o jubilación, aquí llegamos a viejitos y aquí no hay jubilación. ¿Sí?
No.
Pero no hay una persona que te venga a explicar específicamente cómo es el paso, cómo hay que pagar, cómo hay que hacer, o sea, más que todo eso. Por eso es que la información aquí es casi bien negativa, casi nadie sabe.
I could show you a video from Africa. You would say that the answers are strikingly the same. These are not marginal entrepreneurs. This is the majority of entrepreneurs in most countries. In many countries, people don't know where to register. They don't know what registering means, because you see that registering, being formal, is not with one entity. It's not just with business registry. You need to register with taxes. And you see that taxes, you have national taxes and you have local taxes. So you need to register with various institutions. Social security, you need to register with them and you need to report to them all the time. So all these are obligations. If you fail to one of them, you're informal. This explains why in the majority of countries, a majority of entrepreneurs are still in the informal sector. So you see that what they say is, we don't have information, we don't know what to do. So the first advice we could give to a government, which really wants to simplify procedures, make them known. Give information on the many different obligations which entrepreneurs have to satisfy if they want to work formally. I'd like to show you an example of how government, we're not going to see the other one, no? I want to show you Africa, but this is all right. So I'd like to show you an example of how governments can show information in a way that people can understand. This is not Africa, this is Iraq. This is a country which has decided to put its procedures online. It's not regulations online. No, it's very different to take a PDF file, to put it online, or even to put the text of the law. What people want is not knowing the text of the law. If I want to renew my passport, I need to know where to go. So these are the procedures. The steps have to take, and the documents have to give. So this government has decided to put all these procedures online. So if you go to this site, which is a public site for all the citizens in this country and for other citizens, it is called baghdad.eregulations.org. This is Iraq, and this is the city of Baghdad. And then if you want to see how you can create a local company in Baghdad, then you're going to see, first of all, here on the left-hand side, you're going to see a list of steps you have to go through to create a company in Baghdad. So this is 14 steps. And on the right-hand side, you see a summary of the procedure. You see that this procedure is involving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 entities. You see that this one you have to go once, this one you have to go 4 times, and this one you have to go 5 times, this one twice. So there are 5 entities involved in company registration in this country. The results is only one document, a registration license for the company, and these are the documents, the forms, and other documents that you, as a company and as an entrepreneur, you have to provide in order to get registered. The trade name reservation request, the ID, which you have to show 9 times, and this is the initial approval letter for trade name. So these are the entities involved, this is the result, these are the required documents, this is the estimated cost, all the costs you'll have to pay, and this is the total duration. This is what the government claims, no? That it takes between 5 and 12 days, and they say how much time you'll have to wait in queue. We have to wait in queue from 50 minutes to 2 hours and 10. I don't know if this is true. This is what they say. And you have to spend time at the counter with the civil servants from 1 hour to 2 hours. And you have to wait until steps from 5 days to 11 days, which is the largest time. And these are all the laws. These are all the laws which justify this process. You see that laws are here, but what they are showing here is the process, is the step-by-step, is where do I go first? And where do you go first? If you click there, I go to obtain trade name, initial approval letter. Let's click on that. And then you see where you have to go. You have to go to the Baghdad Chamber of Commerce, to the reception room, and these are the people who are going to talk to you. And they say the schedule of this. They're going to give you these 3 documents. You see trade fee receipt and the requirements, trade name reservation request, this is a form, and national ID. These are the costs. This is the time frame. This is the legal justification for this step. For this step, we've seen the procedure of 14 steps, but this is step 1. And this is the person you can complain to in case you have a problem. This is called recourse, and this gentleman says, you can come to me in case you have a problem in this step, and I will try and solve your problem. If you go to any other step, if I go, for example, to step 11 here, go to step 11, this is another institution. This is a reception desk. You're going to talk to this gentleman. He's going to give you these documents, and then these are the requirements for him to give you those documents. These are the legal justifications, and this is the person you can complain to. This is the minimum every government should give businesses and citizens in a country. Tell them how they can do things. Of course, they give them laws also. Here are the laws. But they tell them how to comply with the rules, how, in this case, to create a company. So, first of all, the objective is to give information to the public, and that's, again, the minimum responsibility for a state. But, of course, it's very useful also for the government to see how they can simplify this procedure. Why should it be 14 steps, 14 interactions with different people, and why should it be 21 documents, and why should the entrepreneur have to show more than once the documents? I'd like now to go a bit to some theory. So the essence of what the administrative procedure, the administrative interaction is. Let's see it together. All right, no, it's not this one. Okay. What is the minimum interaction which is needed by any administrative procedure? I will take this gentleman as the civil servant here. What is the easiest procedure you can think of? Is, can you give me the authorization? Yes. It cannot be more simple. Either physically, either physically or electronically. It can be very simple, even if it is not online. It doesn't have to be online necessarily, but it has to be minimum interactions, only one, and minimum documents given. You know, I didn't give any document, and I received, it was only one step. So the basic administrative interaction is one. You make a request, and you obtain the authorization. Usually, when you make a request, you have to give documents, usually one form, and usually some documents which prove that you have been registered somewhere else. And what you receive is an authorization, which usually is a document. So this is the simplest possible administrative relationship. Usually there's one which comes on top of that, no? Is that you need to pay. And usually you do not pay to the same person you've been requesting the authorization from. Yeah? So the minimum steps you can have for a good procedure is 3 steps. I request, I pay, and I obtain the authorization. What are you going to see in your countries if you start doing this work of documenting the steps is that in addition to these 3 steps, which are legitimate steps, no, you will see many others. Because along the time, the people in charge of applying the procedures have been adding new unnecessary steps usually. For example, you make the request, you have to go to another office, obtain the invoice, then you go and pay, and then you come back and you get the authorization. Or maybe you have to go buy the form somewhere, and then you make the request, and then you obtain the invoice, and then you make the payment, and then you obtain the authorization. So you will tell me, okay, this is 5 steps, this is not that much at the end. Yes, but this is with one institution. Remember that you don't need to register with one institution, you need to register with many different institutions. So this is 5 steps by the number of institutions you have to go to. So administration 1 is going to be 5, 6, 7 steps. Administration 2, the same 5, 6, 7 steps. Administration 3, again, the same steps. And then you get a procedure easily of 15 steps, which is complicated because you have to every time give forms and give documents. No? So how can you conceptually, what's the best way to simplify this procedure? And again, you remember that simplifying a procedure is removing steps, less steps, no? And removing documents. The less documents you have to give, the better it is for the entrepreneur. So how do you simplify this procedure? How do you make it a better procedure? You've heard about something called one-stop shop, no? One-stop shop is, the idea is we're going to group all these institutions, all these 15 persons under the same roof. All right, is it a good idea? Maybe, but if you still have to go to each of these 15 persons under the same roof, it's still a bit complicated, no? And this is the same if you put this 15 step online. You have to go online 15 times, and you have to give 15 times documents and payment to different people. So what you want to do is not really a one-stop shop. You need to integrate the procedures. From 3 procedures you have here, from 15 interactions, you want to regroup them so that the user has the impression that he's dealing with one administration only. So, and a good one-stop shop or a good procedure is a procedure with minimum interactions and minimum requirements. So if you want to simplify, you need to think how you can eliminate steps and eliminate requirements. And for this, you don't need to change the law. You need to streamline the procedure. You need to know what the procedure is. Look at it step by step. Put it online so that everybody can see it. And with just common sense, see how you can remove steps and remove requirements. And at the end, what would you get? You would get something which will allow people, even if they're dealing with many institutions, to request only once, with one, pay only once, and get authorizations only once. That's the secret of what the so-called single window, one-stop shop with this synonymous, or integrated procedure. So even if you're dealing with many different institutions, you should give only one form, only one set of documents, and pay only once and receive authorizations all at once. Yeah? So if we go back to Baghdad, this is our summary. We have 14 steps. In Baghdad, when they started this exercise, they had 37 steps. So they went down from 37 to 14. How did they do that? Did they change the law? No. Changing the law takes forever. You don't want to change the law. You don't have time to change the law. You want to make the procedure easier. You want to streamline the procedure. For this, do as they did in Baghdad. You document the procedure from the user point of view. This is an important topic, no? From the user's point of view. And then when you see the procedure, you can, just with common sense, you can see how you can eliminate. And here we can still eliminate some steps and some requirements in Baghdad. Let's look at what you call the blocks here. You see here, you need to obtain trade name approval with an institution called FICC, which is the Federation of Iraqi Chambers of Commerce. And then you need to verify. It means that at the entrance, somebody is going to review your file. Then you need to pay the fees. You need to print and sign trade name letter. This is another step. Then you need to print and sign the trade name letter, and then you obtain the approval at the end. They have 5 steps. They probably could be reduced. And then here, to obtain the registration approval, look at these steps with me. And if you want to simplify, look at this carefully. You applied online. It's not because you applied online. Thank you. It's not because you applied online that it is finished. You applied online, but then you're going to go and receive initial approval. You have to come receive initial approval. Then you have to, this is just logistical. Now you have to get a badge card when you go to the place, and then you have to check the trade name, confirm the list of fees, and pay the registration. So you find again this basic structure, that you apply, you pay, and you get. In this case, when we went down from 37 to 14 steps, what can we do? What can we do to reduce further the complexity of this procedure and to go for 14 to 2, 3, or 4 steps? We need to integrate the process at the International Chamber of Commerce and at the Business Registry so that people can apply only once with the same form, with the same set of documents. They pay only once and they get all the authorizations at once. And this is called a single window. A single window is usually, and probably you have heard of it, it's a costly and very lengthy endeavor. It's not easy to create a single window. And I don't know if you have some figures in mind, but you may have heard about millions of dollars and years to create a single window. Somebody from Belgium here told me that in their country, they're trying to create a single window for company registration, and apparently they're still not there. No, it's very difficult. I'm a French national, I live in Switzerland. In France, I don't think they have a single window for company registration. Do they? They don't, no? So it's a very difficult endeavor. It takes millions of dollars, years, and at the end you don't get what you want. Good news, in association with Jen, the UN has developed a tool to help governments implement single windows at a much more affordable cost and in a much shorter way. I'd like to show you the principle of single windows. Let's go, not here. All right. This is the same user, no? You've seen him here. And then you see the various administrations he wants to deal with. So your problem, if you want to set up a single window in your country, is that this guy, he should send a single application, and this application should be sent to all these institutions. He should pay only once. The payments should go to these institutions, and then again you will receive the authorizations. No? The main obstacle to single windows is the fact that usually we think that to get this, we need to send the information to the first administration, and the first administration is going to send the information to the second one, and then to the third, and to the fourth. And this, in practice, never happens. Why? Because different administrations, they don't want to work together. And they will tell you, my legal advisor told me that I cannot share these informations because what is it called, this act? Data protection. There's a data protection act, so I cannot share this information. The IT director will say, we're not compatible. We cannot share this information. So you will spend months and years trying to overcome these obstacles, which are neither legal nor really technical, but mental. Meanwhile, you don't want to spend all this time, so you want to do something else. What do? You say, all right, I will not send the information to the first administration for it to share it to the second one. I will send it to a neutral place, which we call the user database. The user database is like a friend. Like, let's say that I want to register with these 4 institutions here, no? So I need a friend, I'm going to give him all the information, and he will deal with you. He will fill the form for you, fill the form for you, fill for you, fill for you, send the information I have given to him, to each of you, and bring back to me the certificates. This is what this system is doing. This is what a good single window is doing, no? He's setting up something which is a user database where users can put their information, and they will authorize the sharing of their information with the various institutions. And this is how you overcome the data confidentiality problem. So here you're going to put all your data, documents, certificates, and of course you will be able to reuse these documents and these data when you want to apply again afterwards for another registration. You'll have your own safe box with your own information, and you will authorize the administration to come and take information there. Yeah? So the single window, which is going to be implemented in Iraq and which we have implemented in other countries, works this way. First of all, it sets up a user database, and then there's a first module, very easy, which is going to generate, according to the particular situation of each user, it will generate a form for him, a list of documents this person has to upload, and the cost he has to pay. So if you're married, of course, the form will be longer because you have to put the name of your spouse. If you're going to create, if you have various headquarters, then you need to have the space for this. But you ask a series of questions, and then the system generates a form just for you, a list of documents, and a list of payments you have to do. You fill the form, you upload the documents, you make the payment online, and this is sent to your database. Once it is through a computer, of course, no? And once the information arrives to the database, there's another part of the single window, the back office, if you wish, which is going to distribute the information among the various institutions. So here, I don't want to go too much into details, but not all the institutions are computerized. If they are computerized, you don't want to send any information so that they print it and they have to retype it in their system. You want to send it directly to their system. For this, you need to develop something which is called a web service. There's nothing else to know than this. We just need to develop a web service which sends information from a database to another one. This, either the IT experts will tell you this is not possible, this is possible among any system, and this is not difficult at all. And you know that Administration 1, 2, and 3, they do have a system, so we can envisage developing a web service with them. But Administration 4 and 5, they don't. So what do? We just open a screen, we give them access to the system. So we say, you can go on any computer, you will connect to the system, and this is where you're going to get information from. You're going to receive the application files, and you're going to be able to send them back with the numbers and with any certificate you need to send. So this single window allows you to make a link between the user and institutions which have a computer systems and others which don't have a computer system. So that's the basic concept behind what is a good single window. Is it difficult to set up? No. And again, the UN, in partnership with Jen, has a software to help you set up, according to this concept, single windows very quickly. In a matter of months or maybe weeks, you'll have a prototype which you can show. What is very difficult is to convince the various administrations, because until they see, they don't understand what's going to happen. So we can develop very quickly a prototype which will show how the single window functions. And we will show that we don't need, and this is another very important secret, you don't need the institutions to work together. They don't want to work together. You can keep working in isolation, and you will keep having your one-to-one relationship with the user. You're going to receive a file from the user. You don't even know that this file is going to go also to the other administration. You receive this file, you will process it, you will send your number, but at the same time, in parallel, or after that, the other institution is going to do the same. So you don't need to change the way these institutions are working. You just plug something which is useful, which is not replacing any existing system, but which is just filling the gaps. That's a single window. That's a single window for company or enterprise creation. Is it the end of your problems? No. This is the beginning of the problems for the entrepreneur, because now he's registered, has many, many other obligations to fulfill. No? Let's see what they are. This lady, she wants to become formal. She has to, as we saw, she has to deal with at least the business registry. She needs to register with the business registry, even if she's a sole trader. She needs to register with the tax administration. She needs to register with social security. She needs to be protected. And then she needs an activity license. All this with different institutions. And the business registry, sometimes, in addition to that, they say, oh, but also you need to register the Chamber of Commerce. Or to the statistics office. Tax administration is not one. You've seen that all these people, they were paying to the municipality. So you pay to the municipality, you need to register with the municipality. And you need to register also with the state taxes for income tax. Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry, but VAT is not the same office, so you have to go and register there. So registering the tax is not one operation, it's various procedures. And social security, health insurance on one side, pension on another side, no? And activity licenses, is it hygiene or is it another business license? So, you need to make a single window if you want people to become formal, which integrates the procedures of, let's say, 5, 6, 7, 8 institutions. And we've seen that this is not a problem. We can solve this problem with you quickly and in an affordable way. But afterwards, this lady, if she wants to remain formal, she needs to start paying and reporting to these entities. She has to pay to the business, she has to send accounts to business registry, she has to pay to tax administration. Every month she has to declare and pay. And sometimes this is monthly, sometimes this is quarterly, and sometimes this is yearly, and this could be cumulative. So in this example, you see that this lady, she has to declare and pay 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times a year. And I could show you the type of forms, and you probably know them, you have to fill, and the procedures you have to go through in order to comply with these obligations. So you've created a single window for company creation. Now you need to also apply this single window so that these people, they can also comply with the obligations after they have registered. How do you do that? Is it possible? Yes. What's the secret, and that's probably one of the last secrets I'm going to share with you, is that after you registered, all stems from accounting. All these declarations, all these payments, they use data from accounting. And you know that accounting is difficult. The rules, I went to the rules. It's the rules of accounting. They were drafted in 1494, just after the discovery of America. No, and the rules, if you read them, they haven't changed significantly. We still live in a system which is marked by the physical, the manual process mentality. So I know you all know entrepreneurs. I know you all know that accounting is difficult for them. They cannot maintain, keep their books by themselves. They have to hire accountants. This is very expensive. This lady, she would probably have to pay $60, $100 in some country. In Mali, for example, this lady, she would have to pay $100 to have an accountant. And the accountant will not provide any information which is significant or useful to her. He will provide the information which is useful for the tax administration. She will not be able to use this to grow her business. This is not the purpose of accounting. You knew that, no? The purpose of accounting is to report to the control bodies and to the tax and other bodies. So, how can we overcome this problem? In partnership with Jen, the UN have been thinking on a system through which, through the same single window you have been registering, you can just keep basic accounting every day. Let me show that to you. You keep basic accounting every day with a very simple system. You say, that's the date, this is the operation, this is I'm selling or buying. So I sold. Okay, that's the date, that's the type of operation in sales, that's the person I sold to, and that's the amount. And that's the only thing you have to fill ever in this system. This system is going to generate all the accounting books you need to present, and this will fill your tax declaration. This will fill your, say, social security declaration. And this will, if you want, this will pay for taxes and for social security. In a mechanism I'm not going to expose here, but we're thinking that, let me just do it for Alexandre here. We've been thinking with some countries on a new model to promote entrepreneurship. You know that the classical one, you see this lady, she's an entrepreneur in El Salvador. You see that's the Salvadoran government, and this is a donor government. Could be the EU, could be the US, could be the Netherlands, any, or could be Bahrain, any government. Usually, the classical one, no? They're giving money to the government, for the government to help the entrepreneurs, making business plans, or even it gives money to the government to make a nice single window, which sometimes doesn't succeed. So what we're going to try and implement is, why don't you give money to the entrepreneurs instead of giving money to the government? So what you're going to give to the entrepreneur is not money directly, but the tax credit. If the entrepreneur is using the system you saw, if he is transparent in putting his information in the accounting system, at the end of the month, at the end of the year, we'll say, okay, you should pay $643. Do you want to pay with mobile money? We'd like to pay with a credit card. We'd like to go pay cash at the cashier. Or we'd like to get to pay with tax credits given by this government. I'd like to pay with tax credits. All right, just click here. You click here. And you're paying directly to the tax administration. So you have fulfilled your obligation of paying your taxes for this year, but you have paid with tax credit. What the government is going to do with tax credit? You cannot really use it. Yes, you can exchange it. You can exchange it against hard currency with the government, with the donor government. The donor government is giving money to the entrepreneurs. They're feeling they're receiving something. They're incentivized to formalize because they won't have to pay taxes. And the donor government, the government will receive anyway taxes. It will receive the same money which was formerly coming from the donor government, but through an economic circuit, through a sound circuit. And it has stimulated activity. Now, so this is the type of schemes which will be possible when you simplify procedures, when you set up simple online systems, and you get entrepreneurs to use them. I think I'd like to finish here and maybe give the floor to questions. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, good afternoon. My name is Rapid from Cambodia, and I'm interested for your platform about the e-registration, and then how can we request for the platform to be used, for example, in Cambodia.
So first of all, I'm going to give you the address of a site where we're going to find all the slides have been put in here. This is this one. So if you just take the address, you'll find all the answers there. So it's called Business Facilitation. This is the name of the program I manage at the UN. businessfacilitation.org. businessfacilitation.org, and then you put /JEC 2019. And all the slides and videos and documents have been showing. You can access them online here. Yeah? And here you have my name, frank.grosel, and you put at UN or at anta.org, and you find me, and you have my phone here also. Just write to me. Here there's a site I have not been showing, but which is here also probably. Yes. This is the map of the countries where we have been working in the past 15 years, no? This is online. Yeah? You can go and see that online. If you click on the flags, you're going to see the corresponding either e-regulations, information portal system, or the e-registration system. Last but not least, there's something very important I haven't shown you so far. There's a very important website which is called ger.co. And this website shows all the information portals and all the single windows in the world regarding company or business creation. So here you can see that we have identified in the world 32 countries where you can register your business through a single window. If you click on the respective country, you can access the respective single window. And there are 134 countries where they give a kind of information about how you formalize your business. And you see that there's a rating here. Afghanistan, they have, I think it's 5.5, Albania, 1, and so on. And here you see what are the assessment criteria. What is the right criteria? If you're told in details what to do, you get 3 dots. If you're told clearly how to do it, which is where should I go, what should I bring, from what time to what time this office is open, then you get 4 dots. If it is very easy to use, you get an additional 2 dots. And this, if you're excellent as Iraq is, you get 10 dots. Easy, no? But you see that many countries have not used the same methodology so far. Albania, Algeria, Angola, Armenia. So here you're going to see information portals. You can see information portals by either country. So of course you want to probably see the best rated. And the same for single windows. For America, there's only 5. You see, in the United States of America, there are 5 states where there's a single window. So they are listed there. You can go and see them. United Kingdom, Trinidad and Tobago, Taiwan, Switzerland. So you can learn from others through this system. Of course, if you have an information portal in your country, you think it's not listed here, please send an email there. I think you just click on a button to say government assess your website. You send the list and you can assess yourself your website. There's a tool for you to assess your website. And then we'll tell you if we agree on this assessment. Yes?
Hello, I'm Elizabeth. I'm from the Cape Verde Island. Actually, I'm glad to see what has been presented because I could say that our country might be one of the success stories of the online registrations because we're a country that has 9 inhabited islands. Access to information or registrations in the past were really complicated. Since the last reforms that have been done in the last 10 years, nowadays all the businesses can be registered online. We have a one-stop shop even for the investment procedures. And it wasn't easy, obviously. It's a lot of change of mindsets also because in all these kind of registrations office that have been shown here, I think that people are already settled to work in a certain way. So it doesn't make it easy even for the public servants to accept these changes. But with the years, we've been proven that it was the best way, at least for us, being a small country with people spread all over the places. But then, just one thing, they need a good internet connection, though. In certain countries, I don't know how it would work, but definitely, for us, it's been the solution. We didn't have another.
I can confirm because what I was looking for a picture from Cape Verde. of the one-stop shop, which is absolutely fabulous. And a few years ago, you had also a mobile one-stop shop. You have a little car truck which was going to villages, and people, they could register. Yeah. Any other question on either the e-regulation software, the one which allows you to detail the procedures online, step by step, the e-registration, which is the one-stop shop? I think the online single window. Peter.
Thank you, Frank. Is this on? Yeah. Thank you. My name is Peter Kamaviz. I work with Jen, and I've had the privilege of working with Frank and his colleagues on this process. So if any of you, I have to run now to another session, but I just wanted to say thank you very much for coming. This is really illuminating information. And if any of you would like to contact Frank or would like to contact me, we'd be happy to hear from you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jamila Lodge. I'm from Bermuda. We are interested in having a one-stop shop, and we have a similar issue as you brought up with regard to having the different registration offices. So you have to go to each of these places. And like you said, you know, some can share the information. Our legislation prevents it. So my question is for both of you. Since you've already gone through the process, did you just do the one where you created this separate portal, or can they do a full-on business registration through your website? And if that's the case, what was that process like? Can you give us a little bit more information?
Okay, in our case, because Cape Verdeans are really passionate, we have more than one-stop shop. So we actually have, in the beginning, it was about registration of businesses, so which is our main, say, one-stop shop that does the registration of businesses, birth, everything in general that is really needed to be accessed from everyone from the islands. And we have a different one-stop shop, which is the investment one-stop shop, which actually deals directly as a portal to the investors when they come to our country, where they can not only register their business, but they can get their businesses licensed on those platforms. They can get the approval of the government for what the investments that they're doing and all of this. I mean, all this process, I think as is the platform, it will be adapted to your reality. I mean, because we have a different reality. A certain need was identified even to have now a one-stop shop just for industry. So all the licensing of the industry now is being done through a one-stop shop also. So I think it adapted to each reality. I mean, there is a product that is actually implemented. But definitely, I mean, especially like for countries where, as Bermuda, where you have like a small population as ours, it makes your life easier. And for me personally, I talk a lot about this because I was from the investment agency. So the experience was that it brings a lot of transparency in the process. So there is no excuses from public servants about the time they're taking on doing things and everything. So everyone can see the processes, how it's going and everything. So it makes it easier for everyone, and then you have your businesses flowing quicker. I mean, they get a quicker response. And even we went further now, even, I mean, for the payments of, we still need an accountant though, but even for the payments that you need to do, like in case of small businesses, all the payments that they have to do, the taxes and everything, they can still do it all online. So they don't really need to leave the place where they are to get to other places to do it. So as long as they have the amount already set, they have a code that accesses them to the platform where they have their registration and they can just pay it monthly there instead of having to go somewhere else to do it.
Thank you. No question. Question.
Sorry. Thanks very much. I'm Oral Shaw from Jamaica. We have made several attempts to formalization. In fact, we have just passed our Data Protection Act recently. We have simplified the procedures for registration from 17 steps down to 3, down to 1 day. But we are still having issues with people registering. How can we address that further? It's a major problem in formalizing businesses in Jamaica, getting them to register. So despite all of these initiatives, we are still having a high informality in our economy. From your experience, is there another way, another step that we can go towards to getting more people in the formal sector?
Okay, this is a vast problem. I'm sure you're all confronted to the same problem. But very basically, you need to make procedures easy. It has to be easy to register. But you need to enforce the process. So you need, of course, to have people who enforce the law. So people who do not register, they need to be reminded that they should register. And you need to make the process attractive. So you make it easy, you make it attractive, and there must be some stick also. So people have to be reminded of the obligations. How do you make it attractive? If, for example, and this is really the type of desktop I would like to have if I were an entrepreneur. And this is the accounting system I was mentioning to you. So here you can put all your information, and this information you will share it to the various institutions, so you don't have to do anything else than interact through this interface. Then you can store your information wherever you want. You're going to be offered to store it in Switzerland, in Luxembourg, in France, or in your own country if you wish. But we're offering you to save your information in your own online safe box. And from there, you can share it with the institutions. And you have simplified online procedures all at the same time with taxes, health insurance, municipality, business registry, and all other formalities are online. And then you get, and this is the incentive, support services, credit. Then we have something which is called the catalog of benefits. It's very difficult. Here you can see a very large number of programs which are supporting micro or small companies. And if you go to a country, it's very, very difficult to find concrete offers. So here, the effort they're doing in that country, in Salvador, they made a catalog of benefits so that you can find easily all the institutions which are granting microcredit. You can compare the rates, you can compare the conditions of these institutions. If there are offers for training, you can have access to all these offers for training. So you combine on the same interface. You just don't have the obligation to formalize and the obligation to pay. You have also, through the same window, through the same channel, offers for services which can help you further develop your business. So that's what I call probably make it attractive. Yes, of course, I need to send little information. I need to pay from time to time, but I also receive benefits from the fact that I'm formalized. Any other question? If you're not, I think I can thank you very much for your participation. I'm available. You saw I'm going to put again this website. Take the address. You can take my name. Don't hesitate. Yes, don't hesitate to contact me if I can be of help. Thank you very much.